Autistic Ice Cream, welcome back. Autistic Ice Cream, how do you establish a certain predefined mood using counterpoint? So, mood. Very good question. Mood comes down to three things. Mood in music. And this is emotion in music in general. And here we have three elements of music. All right, we have valence, which is how bright or dark an emotion is. We have size, which is how overwhelming an emotion is. And then we have movement, which is how energizing or intense the emotion is. But basically, anytime you want to control mood in music, you need to find a way to describe your emotion. Would you describe your emotion as dark or bright? My favorite test for this is just to ask yourself, would you want your best friend or loved ones to experience this emotion? If you don't, then it's probably a dark emotion, like depression or anxiety. If you do, something like excitement or happiness, that's a pretty bright emotion, all right? And your best tools for this are chords and instrumentation. You want a bright emotion, use major harmony. You want a dark emotion, so like, that's nice and bright. If you want something darker, go with minor. All right? If you want something in between, seventh chords are great. So earlier, my major chord was C, F, G, C. Same exact chords, I just added a seventh to it. So I've got articles and videos about that kind of stuff. Again, you can check out the book because there are lots of tools for controlling valence. But you start out with your emotion. Is it a dark or bright? How dark? How bright? Set the emotion with your chords and your chords and your instrumentation. Size, how overwhelming is it? So I like to use the example of getting excitement. If you get complimented by like a crush or someone at the work office or just someone that say, hey, nice haircut, you look good. Like, oh, wonderful, thank you. All right, I'm happy. I've got a little pep in my step. I got noticed, I got complimented, that's fine. I'm going to get going though. I'm going to keep doing my work. I'm going to get buckled down. I'm going to do what I need to do for that day. If I find out that I just inherited like $1 bajillion or that I won the Mega Millions lottery and I now no longer have to work as long as I'm smart with the money, I'm probably going to be over the moon. Super excited. Student debt is taken care of. Bills are no longer an issue. I am independently wealthy. All right, that's going to be overwhelming. All right, that's kind of takes you out of your day. So there are different sizes. There's different scales. Again, in my book, I have a specific process that walks you through finding the precise level of how overwhelming an emotion is. But once you find that, then you match it with your music. The more overwhelming the emotion, the bigger your music should be. The more intimate the emotion, the more intimate the music should sound. And then the last one is movement and how intense the emotion is. So one really easy way to think about it, there's two ways you can think about it. One is how energizing or draining the emotion is. So if you're depressed, you kind of lose a bunch of energy, right? You're just kind of slumped in your chair. You don't want to do anything. You don't want to work. Don't want to write music. Don't want to read. Don't want to play video games. You don't want to do anything. If you are excited, that's very energizing. You could be having a really bad day, but suddenly you get really good news and you're excited. You got energy. You want to go for a walk. You want to rub your hands together and whatever, celebrate, dance, do something energizing. That's pretty big, all right? And again, another way is just how physically expressive is the emotion. Is this the type of grief where you're just kind of like, oh, I'm disappointed. All right, I'm going to bury that and move on. Or is it the kind of thing where you're wailing and gnashing your teeth and all those dramatic kind of ideas? Whatever it is, you can find these things, and the more movement, the more energy there is involved with the expression of the emotion or involved with the experience of the emotion, the more movement and energy your music should have. So if you wanted to be deliberate with a specific mood that you want to portray with counterpoint, just hit these things. If you want it to be dark, all right, you should probably be working with minor keys and minor harmony. If you want this to be a very big and dark emotion, like tragic or grief, not just disappointment, then you probably want some big size. Double in octaves, big brass sounds, pounding drums, something to add size. And if it's very energizing, like panic or something, then yeah, add a lot of movement to it, all right? But that's how you create any mood in your music. It's a quick crash course. And then if you want to take emotion in music, emotion means mood plus gesture, all right? If you want to learn about a gesture and what that is and how you get specific emotions in your music and not just mood, check out my book. All right? All right? Oh, fine. I won't be mean. A gesture is just musical metaphor. All right? Gesture is find a way to represent your emotion with your music. Now, if you want to learn specific strategies of how to do that, your boy's got to eat, right? Your boy's got to pay his bills. These are tools I designed myself over years of study. I went to grad school to be a therapist. I spent a lot of money learning the things I learned, and I've spent a lot of time and effort making the connections that I have made. So, some things I will charge money for. So again, if you want to learn more about gestures and foolproof ways to create gestures, 2 options: Emotions and Music book, and the first ebook I ever made, The Musical Storyteller. This book right here is entirely about gestures. How to bring story characters to life with gestures. How to bring worlds to life with gestures. How to bring emotions to life with gestures. I think the highest bit of praise I have ever received for this book was this person on Instagram who messaged me and told me that reading it was like a religious experience, which was a little weird, but very, very flattering. So I was very excited about that. So that's my sales pitch. That answers your question, hopefully.